is with us, and it's here to stay. Global economics, technological changes at the speed of light, and social values that are changing faster than any time in the past. To help guide you along your journey in this fast-changing life, the show with a purpose: to empower, to enlighten, to educate, and to entertain. The show that offers you a friend, a guide in the most transitional time in the history of the human race. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Steve Beeman.
Hello, my friends, and welcome once again to the Steve Beeman Show, where I, Steve Beeman, am here with my co-host, Carol Parisi, to bring you another week of empowerment and strength as we go through a world that is in ultimately transitional times. We have a great show for you tonight. We are on the Y word. So we're going to be talking about a wonderful word that begins with the letter Y as we go to the bottom of the hour. That's always an exciting time. And of course, in the Master Your Mind, we're continuing with Dr. Dennis Waitley's Psychology of Winning. And in our Master Your Money segment in the next half hour, you don't want to miss that because we're talking about, well, something that Carol and I had a fun talk about in our pre-show.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that further and deeper and unpack it more, Steve. How are you this lovely Sunday?
I am doing just fabulous. It's great as always to be here on our show. Folks, we get feedback from folks around the country saying they love this show, and so we're glad to bring it to you. And if you like the show and if you're happy with it, give us a note. Write Carol@SteveBeeman.com or Steve@SteveBeeman.com and let us know. Let's find out how much you like it and if you'd like to have us talk about something special to you.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
But just off the top of the head.
Then we could say this show was brought to you by John Doe from Wichita, Kansas.
We'd love to have John Doe or Jane Doe.
Oh, okay, Jane Doe too. That's true.
I won't go
That's
where my
true.
mind went on that in this transitional time we're in.
Oh, Steve, it's a tumultuous transitional
It is, and we begin our segments always in mastering your world, and so we're going to talk about some geopolitical issues that Carol and I have discussed.
Before the show, when we were sitting around chatting, Steve mentioned something to me that I have heard nowhere else, and it is stunning, and it's quite frightening. I must say it is frightening. Go ahead and explain what it is.
This came out of the Guardian newspaper in England, and there's 2 points I want to make. First of all, sit down when you hear it and don't panic. But apparently the premier of Russia, Vladimir Putin, who is, for all intents and purposes, a dictator over there, sent out a note to all of the Russian citizens who live abroad saying, time to come on home.
And I looked at Steve with a blank look in my face and said, yes, so what is that?
Well, that has historically been a time that countries are preparing for conflict because they're telling their people, don't be out there available for kidnapping or for other geopolitical pressures. We need to have you home.
Was he targeting a specific area when he said that?
Not really. And again, I don't have firsthand knowledge of it. I'm reading what I read about it in some of these off-press things I get. But the other thing it tied into is within the Russian military publications, one of the generals saying that, and again, I'm quoting a general from Russia, this isn't Steve Beeman talking, that if Hillary's elected, there's a high probability of nuclear war with the United States. And they say that because the relationship between Russia and the U.S. over the last 8 years has demonstrably degraded. And some of the recent comments by Hillary about Russia's involvement in Syria, I'm not getting political here.
This is just facts. You're just talking, yes.
It's caused Russia some very deep consternation, and they are very concerned. So in concert with those two pieces of intelligence, you also have Russian missiles being put on the Polish border. Now, that could be for war games. You don't know. But it seems to me Russia is beginning to position itself to exploit the lame duck presidency period that we're coming into.
Lame duck presidency. Well, now...
But it's part of the geopolitical transition. I mean,
so, Steve, wait a second. Okay, first of all, does Russia have the capacity to send bombs to our country?
Absolutely.
They've had that since the 60s.
Yeah, they've got more than enough capacity to do that. But the concern here isn't that we're going to have an all-out thing with Russia. They know that the winner there has a nebulous win.
There's no win.
But what's going to happen is I think you'll see Russia be much more aggressive in the Middle East, where they've now come in with Syria and said, we're putting in a no-fly zone. If the U.S. thinks they can fly stealth fighters in here, they're crazy. We'll shoot those down too.
Okay, wait a second. So if Russia comes into the Middle East, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, where are they going I want to understand this whole thing.
The Middle East is a mess. Syria
the Middle East has been a mess. The Middle East is
an ally of Russia, and they have been for 50 years. So this isn't new involvement from Russia. They want access to a warm water port, so they've got a high interest in that. But what's happening is it's splitting off Turkey. And this whole ISIS thing now, where you've got Iran, Syria, and Russia against ISIS. You've got Turkey fighting the Kurds, ISIS fighting the Turks. You've got a situation of like a boiling pot. And the concern is it will boil over. And at the heart of that is Israel. And Israel's not going to go and take things lightly. So we're at a very dangerous time. And I want to highlight again, this is my opinion. Mikhail Gorbachev, former premier of the Soviet Union, came out recently and said, in his mind, we're at a more unstable time than any time since the Cold War. I listen to what I see, and I read what I read. I think we need to be aware of these things. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, does it change how we behave? Of course not. But to the extent we want to be up and in the know on what's going on around the world, I think we need to know it.
You're saying something, and it sounds like the front of our newspapers are looking like the back pages of our Bible. I mean, it's just that profound where you're talking about all of these Middle Eastern countries and the bear, Russia, and all of this stuff. And then at the heart of it is Israel.
And Carol, I'm not one to jump down that rabbit hole.
I get it. That's why I was a little...
We've been saying it for a long time. But I do think there are some transitional things going on right now that make you maybe think it twice about where your faith stands and where you are with the deeper issues, because economically we've got challenges going on. We talk about that all the time with globalization, technology taking over jobs, a lot of transition there. Geopolitically, well, as the U.S. has backed out, you've created vacuums in the Middle East, in Europe, and in the Far East. That's transitional. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Nature abhors a vacuum. A vacuum is going to...
really does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, policies and leadership abhors it. If there's a leadership vacuum, someone is going to step up and take that leadership role, and that's just the way it is.
And so we in this country now are split. We've got Hillary Clinton on one side with her supporters. We got Donald Trump on one side with his supporters. And I think you can only look and say transition is upon us.
Can I tell you, I saw a meme.
Here we go.
It was almost. It was very sadly comical. Okay, it said one big meteor, November 8th, 2016. Where are we with all of this?
I don't know. I don't want to say what I'm going to say, but on one hand we got a buffoon, on the other hand we have a criminal. Take your pick.
I don't know. A very successful buffoon, though. I'm not taking it.
I'm not taking it away from him, but I'm not saying that I would be any better. Sticking your foot in your mouth is an easy problem when you're under the mic all the time.
Here's the thing. You got a reality TV star running for president.
Welcome to the United States today.
Isn't that? The Kardashians.
It's reflective on us, right?
Do you know what I find to be more pathetic than anything is more people will know who the Kardashians are than the Supreme Court justices of the country they live in. And you know something? I don't encourage people to go vote. I only encouraged informed and enlightened and awakened people to go vote. Because if you're just voting, you're going to vote for the Kardashians.
Right now knows that we have an educational system that hasn't necessarily served our young people right. And we have families that haven't served young people right. It's ultimately the parents' responsibility to transmit values to their kids. But in many circumstances, parents have dialed out of that.
Well, parents have dialed out. There's a couple reasons, though, why parents have dialed out. Let's face it, it's expensive to live.
We've created our own bad situation.
I remember when I rented my first one-bedroom apartment, it was like $350, okay? Now to get a one-bedroom apartment, it's $1,350.
I totally get it. Believe me, I got 3 or 4 kids in college right now.
You're paying for exactly. But, so what are we doing? And $20 trillion in debt? How is that being morally responsible to our future, Steve?
Well, it's not. And that's, again, we don't always want to be negative on this show. We don't like to talk about this stuff, but it's the real world.
You got to talk about reality. It's not
why we started the show. The time of transition is among us. The time of change is upon us. And we need, as people, to come together and bring out the best in ourselves so we can face this head on, not be afraid of it, not be unaware of it, but face it and know where to go.
Well, I think direction is huge, and I think sometimes we need to get out of our own ideological way and maybe look at things with a 360-degree perception versus just a tunnel vision, no matter which way you're looking. That's
Carol, I think you're dead right. I think, we've got to get out of this linear thinking that has both sides so opposed to each other. There's no dialogue between them. We're not going to solve these problems. What we're going to do is continue to
exacerbate and create more problems. And you know
absolutely.
What? If we come together as a United States of America, not a Democrat America, Republican America, but a United States of America, and solve these problems, I don't think there's anything this country cannot do with its beautiful diversity.
Freedom does wonderful things. So what we're going to do, though? We're going to change our tone a little bit. We like to give you the real world, but when we come back for Mastering Your Mind, we're going to lift you up.
With solutions,
real solutions to make Americans great again, because we want to make you great. We want you to live the life that you dream of. We want you to live a life of empowerment and enjoyment and all of those things that we hold dear.
It's real help for real people.
It absolutely is. So here on the Steve Beeman Show, Carol and I endeavor to bring you that journey that brings meaning to your life. We'll be right back with Mastering Your Mind.
Hi friends, Carol Parisi here. If you're like me, you're always on the quest for improved sleep and more energy. I discovered the secret to getting this. It's tart cherries and their restorative powers. It's been found that tart cherry juice, like the Cherry Bundy brand, could help to relieve aches and pains, provide faster muscle recovery, and help you get a good night's sleep. The science shows that tart cherries and Cherry Bundy are rich in antioxidants that help reduce inflammation in the body. These antioxidants also work to reduce exercise-induced oxidative stress to help your body recover faster. Tart cherries also contain naturally occurring melatonin, known as a key ingredient to a good night's rest. To learn more about the science behind tart cherry juice, check out ChooseCherries.com. It's full of data from independent research studies. My favorite tart cherry juice brand is Cherry Bundy, which you could find at CherryBundy.com, spelled CHERIBUNDI.com. And tell them Steve and Carol sent you.
Welcome back to the Steve Beeman Show, where I, Steve Beeman, do sit with my host, Carol Parisi. And if you see us on video, we'll wave to you because it's wonderful to have you there, too. We're on SteveBeeman.com with the videos every week. But in that first segment, we did touch on some real-world geopolitical stuff. We hope it didn't bring you down, but enlightened you a bit.
So, Steve, really, the song we just played, is it really good to be alive right about now?
It is good to be alive because what's the alternative, right?
Right.
We press forward and move on with the knowledge that maybe sometimes in life things aren't always good.
You know what? I have a notebook, and it was Gandhi, I believe, that said, be the change you want to see in the world. You're not going to be able to change all of this.
I saw a movie called Caddyshack once where Bill Murray said, be the ball. Actually, it was Chevy Chase. It wasn't Bill Murray. So it's Gandhi and Chevy Chase are aligned on that,
but
right?
You know what? That is exactly what you got to do. And that is what master your mind.
Right.
And if you could master your mind, you could master your own world, which will help make the world a better place,
we've
period.
seen in life great depressions, great economic booms. We've seen all these different times. In times of transition, folks, go back 1,000 years and study it. It becomes even more important that you are involved with your own life. You're in control of your thoughts, your actions, and your deeds so that you live the life you want, not worrying about what's going on around you.
If you're not actually living and consciously living and making conscious choices for what you do every day, you are falling victim to all of the stuff that's going on.
And that may be the single worst word ever invented.
Well,
to be a victim is not where you want to be. What you want to be is the empowered success.
And okay, let's go to part of our qualities here from our psychology of winning.
If you're just joining us, we obviously are going through the alphabet in our words, and we're on the Why Show. But in the we've been down the emotional path for the last several weeks, and we've been studying Dennis Waitley's The Psychology of Winning. Carol and I both are big students of the positive mental attitude movement, whether it's Earl Nightingale or any of these great...
Napoleon Hill, Dennis Waitley, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins.
The great ones in it. And so we thought Dennis Waitley's would make some really good conversation for us, just to bring us back to what it means, but also to bring you into our conversation so that you'd hear what we think.
So should I go through the first few qualities
we
went through?
We've been through.
Positive self-expectancy, optimism, enthusiasm, and hope. positive self-motivation, desire for change, excitation, urge, positive self-image, that means construction, imagination, visualization, and creativity, positive self-direction, goal-seeking, purpose-oriented, positive self-control, self-determination, volition, choice. Positive self-discipline is achievement, stimulation, drill, and practice. Positive self-esteem is self-worth, self-respect, and self-confidence. And we are going to unpack the rest of this with the last
three more to go. Positive self-dimension, positive self-awareness, and positive self-projection. Bring all 10 of those together in your life, and you move increasingly toward what Maslow called self-actualization.
Well, and you know what? When you're a self-actualized individual, you are not a selfish individual, because you are full enough to go ahead and be able to affect change in other people's life and actually help them.
There's so much truth in what you just said. So we're hoping that these dimensions that Dennis Waitley brings to bear will help you in your life. And again, if you visit stevebeeman.com, all of the shows are archived up there, as well as on AM 560 The Answer in Chicago. If you're listening to them, go to am560theanswer.com, and you can see all of our shows by podcast up there.
Well, Steve, here, let's unpack these, because we only have a few more minutes left to do this. So, positive self-dimension, total person, visionary, humanist.
Right. And what that's referring to is we take ourselves, in a sense, out of ourselves, and we see things from a broader view. We have a positive belief that we can see the world as it is, and we can see our part in the world as it is. Because I used to, when I was working downtown Chicago, I would get out of the train station, I would walk in, out of that station, I'd see 1,000 people, a sea of people.
Yeah.
And I learned to get my visuals out of myself to see me as part of those 1,000 people.
Okay.
Changes your perspective.
That's interesting.
It gives you a whole different look at your part in that whole mass of people.
Well, the acronym of that, or the antonym of positive self-dimension, is shallowness, egocentricity, and superficiality.
And nobody wants to be superficial. We want to have depth to who we are. We want to have depth to our thoughts, again, our actions, our deeds. And we want to be able to see the world. I go back to this as it really is. Let's remember there are three us's, right? The person everybody thinks we are, the person we are, and the person we think we are. Let's try to line all that up.
I really feel that self-congruency is really important, and that goes into your positive self-awareness. That's the next one that we're going to be unpacking here, and that's the synonyms of that is self-honesty, empathy, and openness.
And again, let's talk about being self-honest. We all know in the quiet of our own mind when we've made bad decisions, or we've said bad things, or we've done things we shouldn't have done. Lord knows I've done it, you've done it, we're all in this together. But we have to be honest enough that to ourselves we can admit it and we can make amends to not do it again and to improve on that.
Well, who was it that said, know thyself?
Shakespeare?
Was it Shakespeare?
I think it was.
I mean, you got to know who you are. You got to know what makes you tick. Because that's really the only way you're going to actually do better. If you're not honest with yourself, you're not, who
Right.
can you be honest
who else
with?
Is it, right? And then you get into empathy, which is, of course, the ability to feel for another person. We're not talking sympathy. We're talking understanding.
Empathic, yes.
Every one of us has challenges in life, right?
Yes.
And so let's learn to empathize with the other.
I'll tell you, sometimes, though, I'm a hyperly empathic person, and sometimes you got to turn some of that down too. You've got to get a little balance there.
It can cost you.
Mentally, physically, it's just. I mean, when I see somebody cut themselves, I could feel that pain, and I don't mean to sound like a politician. I feel your pain, but I do.
Well, you're not a politician, so my guess is you mean what you say
exactly.
in truth. But then you talk also about openness as a final dimension of this concept of self-awareness. Are we open to who we are, or are we still afraid and hiding that from other people?
Well, it's funny because the antonyms here of this positive self-awareness are dishonesty, insensitivity, and tunnel vision.
Absolutely. When we're afraid to see ourselves for who we are, we're afraid to, I'm going to go to the next one, but project ourselves for who we are. When we always feel like we have to put on airs and be on stage, and I've got to act this way to that group and this way to that group.
Right.
Well, yeah, there's a little when in Rome, do as the Romans. But there's also a continuity of who you really are that never leaves you. And if you're honest with yourself and you're open about it, people will gravitate to you because it's a rare quality.
Well, just keeping it real. I mean, just
Keeping it real.
that positive self-projection. Now, I think as we grow, and I'm talking as we mature and we become more knowledgeable in life, I think we care less about what others think of us and what we do. I think that you're more subjected to it when you're younger and you got to wear, the coolest shoes and the coolest jackets or whatever that means. I think as you get older, it's like, you know what? This is who I am. Yeah. I'm trying to be my best person. I'm a good person. I love and I care about humanity. Take me or leave me.
If you're young and you're listening to the show, and when I say young, I'm old, so anybody younger than me.
Stop saying you're old already.
It's a relative scale, right?
For Pete's sake.
But if we could learn that at a younger age so that we just feel comfortable in our own skin and we don't have to show off and we don't have to act like we're somebody else.
I'm going to blame the media. I'm sorry. You see a lot of these reality shows and these commercials and you get these...
Well, I don't like to blame others.
Okay, well, I'm not blaming, but if you take a look at our society, there's a root. Go look in any fashion magazine.
Who caused the media? We did.
Madison
we watched
Avenue.
The stuff.
I know. Okay.
I had a talk with a Disney executive once, and I said, Walt Disney wouldn't let his kids watch this stuff, let alone mine. Why do you do it? And the guy said, that's because what you guys want to watch.
That's what you want to watch. Well, here the synonyms of this positive self-projection are communicative, supportive, and impressive, and the antonyms are aloof, unfriendly, and unkempt.
Absolutely. There's a difference between being confident and being arrogant.
Oh, gosh.
Right? And in positively projecting yourself, are you confident in who you are with the comfort and a serenity to say, this is me, this is what I am.
Be comfortable in your own skin, man. I did makeup for many, many years, and these women are like, could you make me look like this? Could you make me look like that? It's like, you know what? Here's the deal. We're going to put makeup on you, and we're going to make you look the best of you. You don't need to look like this one or that one. Be who you are, keeping it real,
We've talked so much on this show about being who you are because you're the best person God ever created for you. You're a good, at the core, you're the best you'll ever be in that sense. You've got to work with what you've got. And part of that's accepting. None of us are perfect. I'm not 6'2", dark-haired. What was the old thing? I want dark hair and...
Tall, dark, and handsome,
there you
baby.
Go. I'm none of the above, right?
But, you're handsome. You're tall.
I appreciate that.
You're just not... You're light. You're blonde and blue-eyed.
And I'm not as tall as others. But my point with that is you work with what you got, right? Some people are taller than others. Some people are shorter. Some people are thin. Some people are heavy. Some people are smart. Some people aren't. It doesn't matter.
You're the best you are, and just keep.
Exactly.
You know what? And apply these principles because it's going to help you be more fulfilled. And you know what? We're here to make Americans great again.
And we'll make everybody great.
Make yourself great.
These apply to people in Korea and Vietnam and Russia and China and everywhere else, too. Hey, when we come back, by the way, stick around because you know what? It's the Y word, and we've got a very excellent word for you today. We'll be right back on the Steve Beeman Show. Thing happened over the past years. Responsibility for retirement got shoved onto your back. IRAs, KIOs, 401ks, and all the other alphabet soup of investment options were thrown to you with the happy statement, you're now in charge of your own retirement. The problem is, money doesn't come with an instruction book. Well, here's the instruction book with no biases, no conflicts of interest, a pure purpose to promote and provide financial education. Welcome to the Society to Advance Financial Education, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization created and sustained to help you, real people in the real world. When you need a friend in finance, someone to explain things and make them understandable to you, you need SAFE. We have spoken to hundreds, thousands of people in transition, men and women dealing with retirement, college planning, divorce, death, transitions of all kinds, and we are there to help. Visit safefinancial.org on the web and become a member. Let our educational tools help you. My friends, and welcome back to the Steve Beeman Show. I'm Steve Beeman, your host, here with Carol Parisi, and we're talking this week about all things in the geopolitical world, in your world, and here at the bottom of the hour, we bring you a word that can help transform your life. Now, I want to mention, this is our 25th in this series. We started with A, we're now on Y, so that says don't miss next week when we do Z.
Why?
We talked about we're going to do who's on first, what's on second, because
Why?
why isn't a Y word? You went to the W word. All right,
I know, I'm just being a silly Willy. And this segment is brought to you by our great sponsor, Cherry Bundy.
You betcha. I got addicted to this stuff in the nicest way about a year ago. And I'm telling you, my kids love it. I love it. Everybody
Yep.
I know feels better. And a bunch of sports teams now use it. So there's real science here. But go to your local grocer, ask them for Cherry Bundy by name, and tell them Steve and Carol sent you.
And you can have coupons. Just write me at carol@stevebeeman.com and I'll give you some great
Carol's got
coupons.
stacks of really cool coupons.
Stacks, baby.
So, Carol, as we come down to this, the 25th week in our series, and we're on the letter Y, but not asking the question why, what is a word that you think will resonate with everyone listening to us right now?
Yes. Not just yes. Yes.
Yes,
With
you
the-
have a word?
Yes. Yes is the word.
Yes is the word?
Yes.
Yes, I like that word.
Yes.
Why do I like that word, though?
Because it's positive.
And what does it mean?
It means that you say yes to yourself, say yes to your life, say yes to who you are.
And that, Carol, is where I wanted to go, because this show is about being the best we can be.
Yes.
And all too often, we sit and look in the mirror and go, no, I can't. No, I can't. Instead of, you know what? Yes, I can.
Yes.
I like me.
Ye-
Yes, I'm all about making the best me I can be.
Think about that. Think of what you just said. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. What mantra was that back in 2008? Our country was in a funkalicious funk, okay? And the economy was in, the mortgage meltdown was happening. People were losing
We're
their
still
homes.
in a funk.
But it was more profound. You saw it every day on television. How many people were losing their
We
homes?
had a big pain. I agree with that.
And there was a campaign, and their mantra was, yes, we can.
Yeah, but
yes,
okay.
we
Here's
can.
the difference. When a politician says, yes, we can, they actually mean, yes, you can pay me and I'll do good for me.
But it manipulated the minds
I know,
of people and manipulate your own mind to
That's
say, yes,
exactly-
you can.
Come back to yourself on this. Look in
Absolutely.
that mirror and go, you know what? Those two on the radio told me to say, yes, I can, looking square in the mirror.
Yes, I can.
And I can too. And you know what? You'll start to believe in yourself.
You know, you need to create your own mantras for life. And one of my mantras, and I know I've said this before, I have a plaque in my office that I bought it at a garage sale probably back in 1982, and it's Philippians 4:13. And it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know what that is? Yes, I can. I can do this. Yes. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your dreams, your hopes, your vision. Just say yes.
And let me go as deep on this as I can. The reason we started this show is because we're in a time of transition.
Big time transition.
It's going to change. It's
Yes.
going to get tough for people. There's no question. And the only way you're going to get through it is if you look in the mirror and say, yes, I can. I will not give in. I will not give up. And I will not give out to this world that tells me I can't.
You know something? I will admit this very freely. I'm a pretty positive person, but watching what's going on right now, if I kept ruminating on all this negative and didn't start getting out of looking at it, sometimes ignorance is bliss, if you will. And sometimes take a break from it, because it does get down, and sometimes I don't even know which way to go with things. It's like, oh my gosh, do we do this? Is this a good time for that? And
folks, some of you are looking at having families now. You're looking at buying a house. You're looking at what to do with your parents. You're looking at these things, but going, man, I heard them talking about Russia's preparing for conflict, maybe. I hear people on CNBC saying the market's going to crash. What's truth? Truth is your life. Truth is how you react to all that stuff.
Yes. Truth is, and it's within you. Also, we're here to give you ideas, give you suggestions, let you know what's going on in the world, and then you can make better choices. I've said this before, just last segment. You know what? You have to go ahead. When you do your choices, you have to make conscious choices.
Yep.
You have to look at, you don't just go off the cuff of things. Say yes.
Be thoughtful and mindful.
Oh, yes.
Remember
Those were
our
some of
M
our
word?
words. Yes, absolutely. See, I keep saying yes.
But it's true. And, I go back, even Jesse Jackson one time had his famous thing about saying to yourself, I am somebody.
Yeah.
Because so many people are beat down by the society at large and by the news and by all the stuff that you forget. Not only are you somebody, but you're an individual with gifts that no one else has.
And I believe of a collective consciousness, if you will. I believe working together is a great thing, uniting. But I think we have gotten so collective minded, we're missing individuality. And I think that's another huge problem.
It's really easy to go off and blame the collective when in fact our joy, our happiness, our purpose, our security, and our serenity come from within.
Well, then I believe the spiritual path feeds a lot.
And that's why in the 5 paths we focus on the spiritual path, because without that, absent that, it's very hard to find those things.
But
hey, right now, if you're sitting there and in your life, you're saying, you know what, I see that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Maybe Carol and Steve are onto something here. Tune in each week. Go to stevebeeman.com, visit the archives. I'm telling you, folks, the content quality is there for you.
And we want to hear from you. If you have questions, contact us. Carol at stevebeeman.com.
Or Steve at stevebeeman.com.
Hey, are we doing Master Your Money next?
We are. We're going to be back and talk about something that's way deep down that rabbit hole. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
We just finished tax time, and I know, like me, many of you are thinking, wow, this gets more complicated every year. I'm Steve Beeman, and my friends at Grebe & Associates have been helping individuals and successful businesses for over 20 years. In construction, they say measure twice and cut once. In accounting, trust me, research and plan before you act. When you need powerful tax and accounting advice for you or for your business, contact Grebe & Associates at 630-653-3510. Visit Grebe & Associates.
Now, back to the Steve Beeman Show for insight on your money and the nation's financial future.
Welcome back, my good friends, to the Master Your Money portion with Carol and Steve. This side of the show, we really do dig deep into the world around us, the money in your pocket, and how you build that better money. And I want to mention real quick, we are sponsored now by 4 different groups who've piled into this segment. John Grebe at 630-653-3510, our accountant friend in Wheaton. The Society to Advance Financial Education, our 501c3 partners who are there as a not-for-profit enterprise to help you. We've talked about these two, themoneystop.com, or themoneystop.net, I think is the website, but they came on. They're a company that provides payment processing and emergency lending to people.
If you're a small business owner, if you're a large business owner, if you're a business owner, contact Steve at stevebeeman.com because I met with Jim yesterday, and it's amazing how much money he's saving clients.
And putting integrity back into the payment processing business. And that's big. And then finally, Job Formants, who's a new company started up to provide better help to people looking to transition in jobs or get better jobs. Both of these are great sponsors. We're happy to have them. But Carol, here we are in Mastering Your Money. And I don't even know how to start on this one, but let's talk about people who want to day trade.
Day trading. Don't people lose a lot of money day trading?
A lot of people lose a lot of money day trading.
Why would anybody want to day trade?
I've lost a lot of money doing this stuff. That's how I learn, right?
Yeah, but that's an expensive lesson.
It is. But what people typically do, and this is what brought it up, I was reading some stuff today, and in the last week, we've seen a lot of transition in the markets and people going, how do I make money on this?
Yeah, it's been up and down all week.
Volatility creates opportunity. And so what we wanted to talk about is something called the Standard & Poor's 500 mini futures. They're called E-minis.
E-minis? Like the mini
donuts, right?
Mini-me's.
Right. What these are little trading instruments that you can do, and they're for a low cost. What it gives you the ability to do is buy the future price of the Standard & Poor's 500 index.
Okay, first of all, low cost. What does that mean?
$500.
Okay.
You can get in pretty cheap.
Okay.
The
So that's
leverage in these
doable.
things is enormous.
So okay, what do you mean the leverage?
Well, the way this works, and I'm kind of oversimplifying it here.
But oversimplify.
But a contract in the S&P 500 for a future purchase of it, a futures contract, runs about $100,000.
Okay.
So these minis are created as a subset of that.
Okay.
They divide it by 20, I think, or 5 or something.
Okay, so I got $500.
You can buy a contract for $5,000, but you can leverage that and you can get in with less than that.
What do you mean leverage that?
Well, if you put 500 up to control 5,000, that's leverage.
Okay.
It's dangerous, but you can do it. But the idea here is that you can bet on the future value of something. And when these things move, they move in concert with the future market values. So right now, here on this night in October, whatever day it is, people are saying, well, wow, this market's going to go down. Bank of America said it. JP Morgan has said it. You've got tons of people saying these markets are heated and they're ready to reset down. If you believe that, you can use the E-minis, the futures on the S&P, to buy a lower value in the future.
So if you see, this still is a little ambiguous to me. So I invest $500.
Do you think the market will go up or down?
I do believe with all this volatility globally and our own universe here with our elections, I believe the market is going to take a hit.
Okay, then what you would
go down.
What you would want to do is go short the
minis?
On the minis, because if the market goes down, like you said, they will go down in value.
How do I make money though?
Because when you buy it in the future, it's less today than it is when you have it in the future.
So what if it goes? What if it does? What if I'm speculating wrong? What if I take my 500
and it goes
it goes up?
Well, then you could lose your 500.
Could I lose more than my 500?
If you do it wrong, you can, and there are people who do it wrong. And that's why I wanted to bring it up. By the way, you have a lot of people on the radio and the seminar series talking about this E-mini thing and talking about day trading, using everything from stochastics to Fibonacci ratios and all these fancy things. Folks, it's not as easy as it seems. And if you're buying into one of these seminar things, join SAFE. We're going to try to talk you out of it probably because a lot of people get hurt really bad doing this stuff.
The Fibonacci sequence?
Yeah, there's a lot of mathematics behind that in the
That's pretty cool, the Fibonacci sequence is the golden numeral.
If you're looking at a retirement or you're looking and saying, I've got some extra money, I really would like to learn to day trade. Okay. You want to maybe start with the E-minis, the S&P futures. That's a good place to start. They're very liquid. They're low cost. They're low low.
How much time do you have to invest in this every day to do this right?
To do it right,
yes.
I'd suggest a lot.
See, that's the thing.
Most people talking about, well, I do this in an hour or two a day. That's only after they've been experienced in it.
Okay, so somebody needs to really do their due diligence and invest their time and know what they're doing to do this properly.
To do it properly. Don't spend any of your money today doing it. Go read a book about it. Go study it first. Most of the systems up on the internet, the trading systems, will let you play with fake money first. Mm-hmm. Go trade a sample account first. See how you do.
Does SAFE have anything on these minis?
We wrote about trading and day trading in the Path to Prosperity audios. We don't teach people how to do this, but I will certainly teach them what not to do.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. So yeah, SAFE and safefinancial.org is the website. Please feel free to go there. But again, this is something, if you're looking at day trading, the thing I tell you not to do is get sucked into one of these seminar series or these internet sites that say, hey, it's easy. In an hour a day, you can make $500 a day by trading $1,000.
You could go to the seminars. You just don't have to sign up for the programs. Because,
it's hard to do.
Yeah, I know. It's very high pressure.
But this is part of the whole financial literacy thing, understanding what's possible, what isn't possible. In trading options and futures, yes, you can make a lot of money.
But
you can lose a lot of money.
You could lose a lot of money.
And you've got to be aware of that. So we want to bring you that. Obviously, there's more to it. There's a lot more. And visit me at Steve. Write me at steve@stevebeeman.com if you have questions. Hey, we got a new challenge coming up, right?
Yeah, we do.
And it's based on the Y word. So I think you'll find that really interesting. And of course, we want to talk in the end about next week, the Z Show coming right up next week.
Welcome back to this great edition of the Steve Beeman Show. Why, Steve, this is the fastest hour on radio.
It is the Yes Show.
The Y Show, yes.
The Yes Show.
It is the Yes Show, yes.
Not the Y Show.
It's the Y, letter Y. with the word yes.
It took me a minute to catch on.
Hey, Y is... Never mind.
It's the 25th one of the alphabet. It's been a busy day with you. And we started off talking about some really geopolitical things that are really of concern.
Okay, real quick. Unpack that again. You know what? I am so disparaged that this was not heard anywhere on the mainstream media. But go Google this in a nutshell. What's
feel free to Google Putin recalling his people back to Russia. It's all it's on the Eastern European press. It's in Russian press. It's in the some of the mainstream European press. And the Russian general who came out and said, if Hillary's elected, we're going to have nuclear war. everybody positions everything in politics.
You think it's
so
saber rattling?
I think it's saber rattling, but I think what they're doing is preparing to make more aggressive moves in the Ukraine, in the Middle East, even up to Finland, which is historically heavily Russian. But I think you have China doing the same thing. Obviously, last week, Yemen or somebody over there sent a missile at one of our Navy boats. There's a lot of people testing us right now, seeing if we're strong. But talking about all negativity brought us into the Mastering Your Mind.
Yay!
Yeah, we talked about Dennis Waitley and the psychology of winning, his final 3 characteristics.
And those are
Self-dimension.
Positive self-dimension.
Self-awareness.
Positive self-awareness.
And self-projection.
And positive self-projection. Always positive, because you could have the antithesis of that. Because you could have that. That's not going to be very empowering.
That's a fact. So you don't want to forget that kind of critical word.
Positive is a good word.
And then we came around the bottom and we had our why word, but it's not the question why. It's the letter Y.
And that word is yes.
Yes,
Say
you can.
yes. Yes, you can.
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can too.
Together we can.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
We'd go back and forth for
Yes.
a while. So that actually leads into our challenge of the week, by
What's
the way.
the challenge?
Every week we give you a challenge to go home and think about when you're not watching us. The challenge we talked about is to say yes to your life every day this week.
How do you do that?
You get up in the morning when you're shaving and brushing your teeth, you stop for a second, feel a little bit silly, and say, yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Yes, I believe.
I love that. I believe. Yes, I believe. Yes, I can. Yes, I am able.
All of it, folks.
Yep.
Just start to regenerate it, because I'm telling you, if we're right and the world goes through the transitions that Carol and I believe to be true, you're going to need to be the best you can be.
We're there. We're there, Steve.
We're certainly moving in that direction. Hey, we do want to say thanks real quick to Cherry Bundy, our friends with the tart cherry juice, who make this all possible. John Grebe of John Grebe & Associates, the Society to Advance Financial Education, Jobformance, and themoneystop.net.
And you want to thank our producer.
Oh, we always want to thank James Thompson, our producer, who puts this together. We hope you like the new music. He selects that for us based on his emotions of the day.
So what are we going to do next week? I'm kind of excited. We're going to unpack everything next week.
It's the Z show. So it's the 26th in this series. It's the first show before we begin the AA series. So
the AA? Wait a minute.
It's really
No. It's not going to be AA.
A squared.
A squared, yes.
So we're going to unpack the world at large in the Z show, and we're going to try to bring you a really coming together of everything we've talked about from A to Z.
We're going to travel down all 5 paths.
Fast.
Because
we don't have a lot of time to do it. So we're going to do that. But in this week ahead, we hope and we pray that you can say yes to your life, that you can say yes to your beliefs, that you can say yes to your purpose. And if you have issues and questions, you can always write Carol@SteveBeeman.com.
And say yes to the Steve Beeman Show here every Sunday, or you can go catch us down
Catch us
online.
up on the web at SteveBeeman.com or on other stations on the internet. So it is truly, folks, from our heart to your heart that we do this show. We're here for you each and every week. And we wish you Godspeed in the week ahead. Safe, healthy, and successful week it should be.
And just say yes to your life. It's important.
And join us. Don't forget to join us next week for the Z Show. We're really excited about it. We're gonna pop the champagne and have hats and the whole thing.
And yeah, right. Oh, really? I'm looking forward to hearing from you too. Please, listener mail is always accepted at Steve@SteveBeeman.com or Carol@SteveBeeman.com. And guess what? It's gonna be another show that's a wrap, Steve.
And it absolutely is. But God bless you, folks. Have a great week ahead.
Bye-bye.